together? So consciously they packed into our bags, and today you are as a result of what was packed into your bags. Are we together? And that is why some of us behave the way we behave. Like me, I never wanted anything to do with marriage. Why? Because it was packed into my bags that women are there to be beaten. Hey, you beat me. Hello. So my bag was picked. It was packed that women, once you marry them, you beat them. So if you don't want to be beaten, what do you have? Do you do? Say no to marriage. So all of us have our suitcases. Now what we are doing when we are in Karatina University, we are unpacking what was packed. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So now you're away from your parents. If you were taught responsibility, it is time you are unpacking your bag. You're able to tell when you're given 200 shillings, what do you do with it? Someone who was not taught responsibility, anaona 200. So unaingia mahali unakula yote, unafanya nini? Inaisha. But someone who was taught accountability and responsibility, ataweka kalamu chini aone hii 200 iko na maharagwe ngapi? Iko na githeri ngapi? Iko na nyanya. Yet this person 200 anaweza kula siku ngapi? Siku 3. What am I saying? We are as a result of what was packed into our suitcases. And some years to come, some of us seated here, we will begin to pack into our children's bags. The unfortunate bit, there are parents who packed our bags in the wrong way, and it is beating on them. It has getting back on them. Where they never taught us honesty, and now we are caught because a moment comes when we begin to unpack and it gets on us. We are caught. They become now the responsible, because when you're taken to the police custody, what happens? See, you got your parents. Are they not the ones who packed the suitcase? They packed it. Some of the ladies here, they never taught us how to behave right. They never taught us how to be responsible, how to wash our clothes, how to live with a man. So what happens? We get married. Within the first year of our marriage, unaambiwa aenda kwa mama yako akufundisha kufanya nini? Because what we pack, some days to come, it will work against us or for us. There are parents here, all of us seated here, there are parents who are rejoicing over us, and there are some parents who are crying. The problem is what they packed into our bags. Ask your neighbor from me, what was packed? You know, there are people here who behave, who have a lot of anger issues. It was what was packed in there. Tell your neighbor your bag, your suitcase. Ebu mwambia your suitcase is full. It is the time to unpack. And I'm sure there are some of us who are dealing with issues of life, because there are some things that were passed on to us. I'm one person who used to deal with a lot of anger issues, a lot. It took God to deliver me from anger. Where did I get it from? From the family. Where did I get it from? And I know there are others who are here who are still in the same place. That is why family is very, very important. What kind of a family environment will you create for your children? What kind of a family will they grow in? Because what they grow in will determine how their future is and how they behave. Their character, their emotional stability. And this explains the reasons why some of us, why we have issues with emotional management. Because this is what we picked, this is what was packed into our bags. And right Thank God that my husband came when I had already dealt with anger. Otherwise, that man, kama angekuja hiyo wakati, tungekuwa pamoja. I had so many broken relationships. Not so many, but I knew I had issues that I was dealing with. Where did they come from? They came from the family unit. Are we together? That is why it is very, very important, even as we grow our own families, as we aspire. I know this, we are in an age where we desire some days, some of us are in relationships already that our pastor is going to talk about. But even as we grow our relationships, what kind of a family would we want to raise? Because at the end of the day, it is important to know. It is important to know the environment that you raise will cause issues. I don't know whether my time is up. Nataka kurukaruka kidogo juu ya the moment, the time. Maybe you can write 14 minutes. Oh my goodness. Write this that was written by Michael J. Fox. Family is not an important thing. I know someone is asking yourself a question. Family is not an important thing. It's everything. Did you get that? Family is not? It is? It is everything. Family is everything. So meaning, whatever that you're doing today, it is geared towards your family. Sawa sawa. With a few minutes remaining, let me just handle a few things that I was requested to deal with. Tell your neighbor, family is not just important. Family is everything. So that tells you a lot of things. Praise the name of the Lord. I talked about domestic violence, and I was asked to mention about something about it. What is domestic violence? I've lived in a family where there was a lot of domestic violence. And sometimes when it is with intimate partners, it can be very difficult to see if it starts, especially if it starts little by little, if your partner says, and especially if your partner says, I love you. Sometimes you wonder where to draw the line. Are we together? Unfortunately, even in relationships, it is happening today. There is a lot of violence happening and a lot of issues happening. So it is very, very important. Domestic violence is an abuse, is a pattern of behavior that harms or controls another person in an intimate relationship. Now, and because we are in a relationship, it is good to note some of the pointers to tell you whether there is violence. Number one, if there is extreme jealousy, possessiveness, bad temper, criticism, demeaning and humiliating the victim. When you find your partner is controlling your choices, your appearance or your activities, when there is a lot of threats or harms to the victim, where there is forced sex, physical violence, when it gets physical. Now, those are some of the pointers to tell you if there is violence. And unfortunately, it is not just happening in the family sector. It is happening even in our relationships. When you find someone is extremely jealous of you, you cannot talk to anyone else. I used to have a boyfriend some years back before I got married. This gentleman was too was too jealous of me, you know. And especially when a man gets a very beautiful woman like me, you become so possessive. So possessive. The guy was in Nairobi, I'm in Karatina here. But he was so jealous. He doesn't want me to talk to anyone. Now, the point came. In fact, I'm the one who broke up this relationship because I saw this. We are not headed anywhere. He's the kind of a person, when he calls, maybe I'm with pastor here. Na kwa simu nasikia kuna mtu mwingine anaongea. He's nuna ndo alemewe ingine. Jealousy ingine hata mwezi elewa. He's so insecure, so jealous, so possessive. Anakasirika. Nani huyo mko na yeye? Is it a man or a woman? What are you talking? So I got to a point, I asked myself, after 6 months with him, I asked him, hey, me, the independent guy. I asked him, listen, how old am I? He told me. I asked him, when did we meet? Kanyabi, let me ask you. Those years I was not with you, were you the shepherd of my life? What makes you think, just the other day I met you, I have begun being a bad girl? And now you can shepherd me. Who am I with? You control my life. You want to control me like a remote control. If you're controlling me now, what about when we get married? Will I ever greet anyone? And I'm a people's person. I thank God for my husband. He is free with me. I can talk to anyone. I can go anywhere. No, I ask myself, this man, even going that time, going for a mission, hey, it was issues. And I'm going for a mission for 1 week. He becomes so insecure with me. He's so jealous that when I go for a mission, another man will see me. Excuse me. Hey. And girls, if you are with such a person, or a gentleman, you are with such a person who is so controlling, he's so over-jealous. It's good to be jealous, man. Because if my husband is not jealous of me, then I will think he doesn't love me. But there is another one negative. It is too much.